What's up, guys? Welcome to What Matters Now, the show where we review and go over news of what matters now to us. Today we're going over Mockingjay, Part 1. Matt, let's start.
Alright, let's start with what we really liked about the movie.
Alright,
I liked,
what do we like about the movie?
I liked the whole aspect of how they made her a symbol of hope and revolution, but they didn't have her as that. She had to get
She
into
had to
that.
get into it. Yeah, that's what a lot of, I feel like that's her as a character, her development. In the first one, obviously, she didn't want to get into the games. She didn't know what she was doing. She was just trying to survive.
It was
And
for her
she
sister
didn't-
originally.
Yeah, well, she didn't want to survive when she was in the game. She didn't know what she did. When she did the poison berries with PETA, she didn't know what she was doing. And in the second one, she was kind of, I guess, getting help and getting talked to. And this one, she kind of stood up, and I felt like by the end, this is the first time where she actually wanted to become the Mockingjay throughout the movie. Yeah, I mean, I personally, while I liked it, it was a political type of movie. It was a different type of movie. You know, this isn't like the Avengers, or this isn't like a fun, action movie. I mean, there's very little action, and I mean, I can see why a lot of people aren't into this movie. We'll talk about that later, but
It's
there's a
emotional
lot
appeal.
of emotional. First things first. Story aside, let's just talk about the acting. The acting itself was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I mean, you can't. J-Law.
It was J-Lo.
J-Law was J-Law, and she put out a good one. I mean, I'm not gonna say a no Oscar thing like that. I mean, come on now, but it's obvious that this girl has got her shit together. She's what, 24?
Yep, and this is like one of her second or third main roles. I mean, she's been Mystique in X-Men First Class,
I mean, that girl.
House on the End of the Street.
How many times has how many Oscars has she been nominated for?
She's done it for 3 and 1
Three
one.
and one, and she's the face of 2 franchises. I mean, that's a career right there. It's a career right there. I mean,
she's 2 years older than you.
Yeah, she puts her career very, very seriously, and it shows here. The ups and downs that she had to do. I love the scene with the where she had to hold the flag up, and
They're trying to get her to act.
yeah, and I mean that's just it's funny how a great actress has to pretend
To be a horrible
not be a
actress.
good actor. I always think that's amusing. So I mean, she did great in it. I thought Donald Sutherland is his name or something.
Yeah, President Snow.
President Snow. I mean, what a great villain he's turning out to be.
I mean, the way he did his job with being that cold, ruthless, but still calculating villain.
Yeah.
But it seemed like I like the idea. It feels like he had no emotion, but I feel like he truly believes that what he's doing
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like necessary
Yeah.
for survival.
And it's great because those are the villains like Magneto, and a lot of other villains. Those are the villains we love the most. The villains that think they're doing good, and he may also think he's doing good just because of the benefit of himself, but there's a part, at least of me, that thinks that the Capitol and everything, they think that this is how the world should be ran. And I love that about the whole series.
And what do you think about Josh Hutcherson or Peter?
PETA. I personally, I've never seen Hutcherson in anything else besides.
Stephen Zathura. That's a good when he was a kid. Remember that movie it's kind of like Jumanji, but instead it was space.
Right. See, I never minded him as an actor or anything. I never really seen his stuff. I can't judge him, but I don't think he's a great fit for the role.
I mean, Peter is a reserved style character because, like, in first movie, you saw how he was reluctant to be in anything because he just accepted the role, and over time he started to cut out
as a
his shell.
character, I like PETA, but as an actor, Josh Hutcherson, I think, he's very small. I'm small. I'm 5'5", 5'6". He's about my height, and Jennifer Lawrence is probably taller than him. I just don't see. I saw in the second one he was supposed to be a brutal warrior. He got like an 8 out of 10 or something. I don't see that in him. I see that as if I went to the Hunger Games, I would get killed within the first 2. I'd be one of those guys trying to get a sword and get my head cut off or something. Because I'm a little dude. I'm 5'5", 5'6". Not the smartest kid in the world. That's him. I don't see him being this brutality warrior that they say he is in the second one. Or the first one, I believe.
First one, he was just tactically smart because he just decided to not engage.
Yeah.
He just hid.
Yeah.
And then in 2, he had Katniss the entire time.
Yeah, but I play out to be. I think that Josh, he's doing the character justice. I mean, I think he's doing great with it. I just now that I look back at the movies, I would have liked to see someone maybe a little bigger and a little bulkier, because it almost looks like, because the way I look at it, I'm not a girl obviously, but the way I look at it is you have a 5'6" little guy that's kind of a wimp, and then Hemsworth's character, Gale. Who it's like obviously the girl's gonna go for Gale. So anyway, we're men here, so I don't really like what they did with the character though.
Well, like
of PETA.
Like, what do you mean? Like, he was reserved, and he starts to come out the shell. But then what happens after two?
In the third one.
In two, but think about it. He gets captured. He loses his girlfriend, I guess you can say, in a big storm, big explosion, and he has no idea what just happened. All he knows is Katniss is gone.
Yeah. Well,
it wasn't until she started.
I don't really mind about the whole what happened to PETA. I kind of don't like that we didn't. The way I look at it is, Hunger Games, that as a franchise, is about two characters. Obviously, the main character is Katniss. But I see the other character is the one that's with her throughout the whole series.
Gale?
No, which is PETA. I look at him as the second main character, and he was in this movie for maybe 20 minutes. Really, he was, and I didn't like that. Well, I understand that, but I feel like I kind of wish I saw him a little more. That has nothing to do with the actor, has nothing to do with the character, has something to do with the script, or how they laid out. I'm not saying it's a horrible thing that he wasn't in enough, because remember, this is a part 1 of a part 2 movie. He could be in it, the whole movie in the second one.
So with that, let's actually go to who else you didn't like.
Well, let's go to the characters, too, because we're not done with the characters 100%. President Coin, what do you think about her?
I mean, she was...
I think I had
the way she...
President Coin, that's her name, right? The girl, the 13th?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I do know what you're talking about. And the way I view it is that she had a great idea of being 13th District, hiding all this time, and wanting to be very careful with how she portrayed herself and her actions. But I also think that she kind of reminded me a little bit of Snow's mentality, with the whole, we have to do things a certain way, or it could put us in danger. She wasn't willing to take risks until Katniss had to force her hand.
Yeah, well, I felt like she didn't believe in Katniss during the beginning. It was kind of like it was Seymour Hoffman's character. I forgot his name, but he had to push it, and I felt like if it wasn't for his character, President Coin would have never have chose her as the Mockingjay, even though obviously she is the Mockingjay. I mean, overall, the characters I think was great, but Effie, I loved how they had Effie in it, because apparently, her character is barely even in this movie, and she's not even in District 13 in the books.
She was from the Capitol.
And she was, and they kind of changed it. I like that. I love actress Elizabeth Banks in the role. I love Elizabeth Banks.
You said that thing.
But the one thing this is part of the don't likes, we can just jump right into the don't likes because of this. I don't like how they utilized a lot of the second characters. I mean, I know this
like the hospital scene?
Well, I know the series and the whole franchise is built on Katniss's back, and it's all about Katniss, and we're looking through her point of view. But I didn't see enough of Finnick. I mean, I didn't see enough of, like I said before, PETA. I didn't see enough. I loved Joanne and Finnick in the second movie. We didn't see them at all.
We gotta think about this though. The whole part of the Mockingjay, part 1, is Katniss understanding what she means to these people and becoming the Mockingjay as she grows up, I guess you can say, in a way.
Yeah,
because
goes into
after when Snow took out the hospital, and you saw the fire in her eyes, that's when she really became the Mockingjay. I think this is all about
her
turning into it.
Yeah.
Part 2 would be her acting it out fully.
And having the other characters.
The whole scene with the plant, where the people sacrifice themselves to blow up the plant, that's what this movie's all about. It's about the movement, not about her.
Well, again, I don't mind about her. I don't mind it's going through her and stuff. I just would like to see Finnick a little more. Because I felt like at the end of the second movie, Finnick was going to be part of this movement. And he wasn't. He was just another person. Until he had that speech, he was just another person hiding on the bed. I didn't like how they utilized Joanna. I wish she, besides saying Katniss at the end, and how freaky did they all look? They all looked like they came from the Holocaust or something. They all Man, they all look kind of skinny and whatnot.
Well, they were captured by them, and they were kind of being held and
Yeah.
tortured.
I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that was great stuff. I just wish they were a little more. Anything? What do you not like about the movie?
One thing I have to say I don't like is that it seemed to be a little bit on the inconsistent side with the emotions. Like, there's times you want to feel sad and anger, then there's times it just kind of just takes a 180 somewhere else. Because, like, for example, when Katniss is like walking through District 12, destruction of all.
Great scene too.
And then you see the cat.
Oh
random cat that's just.
Well, it's her dog.
It's
her
I mean, it's her sister's cat.
Yeah.
And it's just like this morbid, horrifying scene. A random cat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that also point out to me, I just thought about this, is in the Hunger Games movie, the scenes I remember, and it's kind of funny how Effie was saying all of her favorite scenes, kind of like to throw us back there. Were Girl on Fire. It was going into the Hunger Games at the beginning and catching fire. There was the one when she turned and her dress turned into the Mockingjay. Shooting the arrow into the dome. All these were very memorable moments and very memorable scenes. This one I felt like it was dry of that. And again, this is a part 1. I understand part 2 could have 10 of them. But I just felt like in this movie, because it was so dragged out, and I was talking actually with my mom about this earlier, that this movie is kind of obviously it's a sequel, but it's a continue of Catching Fire. It's literally going right into it, and cliffhanger, and then it comes right into this movie, and obviously you don't start with the beginning like on Hunger Games would have, or Catching Fire would have. You're kind of starting off where the last one was, and you don't have an ending because it's part 2.
I mean,
it's part 2. So it's like one big middle.
Also, another thing I think about is during the commercials and trailers for this movie, they showed that one memorable scene as the trailer, which was when she says, if we're gonna burn, you burn with us.
Yeah, there's a lot of great scenes in the trailer, which they like also when PETA yelled, they're gonna come for you or whatever he said. There's a couple scenes that I think they shouldn't have played because everyone's gonna go see this movie anyway. All right, so let's do some final thoughts. Where do we think the franchise is gonna go with the 4th installment? And let's grade it out of 10.
Let's see. I would say Mockingjay Part 1.
Final thoughts. What are your final thoughts?
I give it 8.5 out of 10.
8.5? Alright. 8.5 out of 10. Alright, where do you think it's going?
I think this is going to be similar to how Harry Potter Part 2 of Deadly Hallows went, with the pure war, all-out fighting scenes. The people are going to die, but at the end of it all, I think Katniss is going to stand above them all with PETA, but I think Gale's going to die.
See, you think Gale's going to die? See, again, we didn't read the books, but I heard that the book, that the little speech that Finnegan's did, which was probably his only line in the whole movie, was very important for the next part. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know when. It could be right at the beginning. I don't know. I have no idea. But I remember that speech about the venom and about the snake and how the president's a snake and he's using the venom or whatever. And I feel like they didn't capitalize on. I really wish that scene where they went to go save PETA and all of them, that it was almost like there was silence in that scene, and his speech was over top of it instead of then going back and forth.
I mean, I thought they were going to do things like
this movie. Look, this movie. I'm gonna give my rating. What I think about it. This movie, I think, did really well with a lot of things, and it took us in a direction where I think the 4th one's going to be a great, amazing story. I think overall, it's going to be an amazing story by itself. I think we're going to appreciate the story of Mockingjay Part 1 after we see Mockingjay Part 2. But as a movie right now, I haven't seen Part 2, obviously. I haven't read the books, obviously. So what I can see in this movie now, like I said, I wish more side characters had a little bit bigger role. Okay? I like where they went with Jennifer Lawrence's character, Katniss. But to me, it wasn't. It was kind of repetitive stuff. They went to go see Bones. She's mad. She's confused about what she wants to do. They're doing the videos back and forth, which I did like. The videos back and forth with the president, the rebels, all that stuff. But I think it fell flat in a couple spaces, and altogether, I'm gonna give it a 8.3. It's pretty close, 8.3. Again, nothing bad that this did. but I just wish it did some other things better. So, guys, check out our other videos. That is our review on Mockingjay Part 1.
Leave any comments.
Leave any comments,
suggestions
like
for
our
the
video, everything like that. Peace out.